Hello, everybody. Joe Bagdon's here. Welcome back for another episode of Umineko. Last time we left off, Kinzo made a daring escape from his old post after everyone died with Beatrice. And then she died. Rip. And now, learning about, I don't know, Birth of Beatrice is fairly vague. Are we talking about Beatrice 2? Or, Beatrice 3? The birth of the witch Beatrice. I don't know. I just got off work. I'm kind of tired today. The weather's getting nice. Oh. And the pollen's dying down. At least the plants that were in bloom that were literally killing me are dying down. So I've been getting up at like 5 to go on my morning runs. And let me tell you, that's rough to adjust to. Like, on my weekend shifts, I would get like 11, 13 hours of sleep on my off days. And on my work days, I'd still get like 12. I would come home and go right to bed. Now I'm getting like 6 to 7. And it's a little painful. And I was dying at work today, even when I drank an entire pot of coffee and had a monster. So, if the uppers aren't work, time to go with a downer. Got a nice ale here. Shiner Trail Ale. It's from Texas. Ale brewed with chocolate, nuts, dried fruit, and with other natural flavors added. Very nice, very nice. Nice little trail mix beer. I thought about getting the Sam Adams like summer one, like the summer citrus, but I don't like that one. It's like too weedy, and I'm not a fan of like the lemon. It tastes like you're just drinking a beer that someone left a lemon peel in. And like not in a good way. Like they didn't do like a nice spurts. It's like, oh, I picked up this lemon peel that was on the table and I left it in this beer for a day. Like, it's like, I don't know about this, Chief. But then again, I'm not a huge citrus guy, so that's part of it. Anyway, I'm gonna have the one so I don't have to worry about me getting shit-faced. So, well, I was about to say I haven't been drinking recently, so I'm a bit of a lightweight. But, got real fucked up during Green Flag with the Canadians. I pre-gamed way too hard. Like, I drank half a bottle of Captain Morgan, like, without eating anything for lunch. And then we went out for Mexican, and then we went to their hotel and sat by the pool and drank, like, 5 cases of beer. Yeah, I wasn't feeling good that night. I just sat in the tub for, like, an hour and a half with, like, the shower running and, like, a wet towel over my face. Just trying not to die. At first I tried to like lay down and kind of like hope that would help, but then I get the spins when I lay down and I get the swimming eyes, so I was looking at the clock and like I couldn't focus on it. Just like I look at it and like, oh, it's moving, like one eye's staying and the other's drifting off, so like the image is like trailing and splitting and I'm like, ooh. So I just got up and sat in the shower like all night, and then I had work the next day. Super fun. Great time. My liver loved it. Anyway, binge drinking negligence later. We're here. Let's go. My brain cells die, just remember that. Yeah, he was a little head over heels.
ベアトリーチェを誰が殺したか。それがわからなきゃ、俺たちはいつまでもここから出られねえ。
Okay, I can get a little bit of chocolate note in like the aftertaste. But other than that, like the nuts and dried fruit, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even taste it.
そうでしたね。早く終わらせなければ。
Yes, please.
葬儀はもう終わっているのですからね。
We need to get on to chapter 8,
ちげえな。
This is the penultimate.
葬儀なんだ。これがな。
私たちのさせられていることが。
Yes, you were exposing all the truths and laying everything to rest.
これまでに聞いたどのベアトリーチェも殺されてなどいない。それを俺たちが殺されたことにしようとしている。ベルンカステルにとってはこれこそが本当の葬儀なんだ。
誰も殺されたことを知らない。それを私たちが暴こうとしている。
Yep.
お前、つくづく察しがいいな。
Leave no little dark corners for, the essence of Beatrice to scamper off and hide into to continue to
仮想の
exist.
駒と話してるとは思えん。俺のワトソン役として与えられた駒だからか。いって。
相棒を駒呼ばわりとは失礼な方です。さあ、次は
Well,
何
it's
を
what you are.
ウィラード・ホームズ
But also him.
操作の基本は聞き込みだろう。まだ聞くべきベアトリーチは残って
The
いる。
higher dimensional beings and whatnot. To indicate who they should talk to next, Will nodded in the direction of George, Jessica, and Maria. Maria seemed to be lecturing the others about something.
へえ、すごいんだね、ベアトリーチェは。
伏せたカップの中にね、魔法
Mm-hmm.
でキャンディーをいっぱい
Yep,
生み出
out
して
of
くれた
nowhere.
の。
No clue where they came from. I had my eyes closed.
伏せたカップの中に？そりゃすげえぜ。確かに魔法だ。
マリアちゃんは魔女とか魔法とかそういうものが大好きですから。
魔女の
Sure
権
does.
威に話を聞かないわけにはいかねえな。
If looking for someone to ask about Beatrice, Maria would rise to the top of the list. The Beatrice she spoke of wasn't the real Beatrice spoken of by Kinzo and the others. However, on Rokenjima of 1986, the being that the name Beatrice referred to was probably the Beatrice that Maria always talked about.
バトラの姿が見えないな。
Ushermia Battler, the one who was made to fight as Beatrice's opponent in many games, and the most important person in this game and this tale. A battler in this world would probably be the peace version, but even so, it should be possible to get some vital information out of him. Will probably wanted to talk with Battler too, but he was nowhere to be seen in the cousins' group.
バトラ君は今回の葬儀には欠席しています。最も年の近いいとことして残念です。
Oh, is this how we're playing it? You're subbing him out in his, you know, the number of people slot?
仲はいいのか？
ええ、もちろん。
バトラが何かスケベな出現をするたびに
Yeah, playing
尻を
crab ass
つね
with
って
your
るんだ
cousin.
ろ。
おや、よくご存知で。推理は可能でしたか？
バトラに同情する。
Burgestel said that everything was gathered here. Since Battler isn't here, that probably means it's possible to find out everything without asking for his side of the story. Or maybe she's intentionally hiding the core elements and making us take the long way around as part of some fickle witch's game. Well, yeah, we just can't have Battler just drop it,
とりあえず今は
in like
や
one
つの
paragraph.
話を
Like,
聞
yeah,
く
here's
必
the
要
whole
はねえっ
story.
てことだろう。マリアたちに話を聞こう。スケベな話はしねえからな。
ならほんの少し言葉を選ぶだけでいいのに。
With a roguish smile, Leon pinched the air, index finger against middle.
おや？次期当主様だぜ。
What? Like a crab? Snip, snip like that? Hold on, let me look at that again. Did I read the right fingers? Leon pinched the air, index against middle. Okay, so he's like doing a little crab motion. I'm like, you can't fucking pinch someone using your index and middle fingers. But no, like, snip, snip, crab will pinch you.
クソじじいの介護はもういいのかよ。
Yeah, he cried a bunch. And we learned some nasty things. At least Leon is impartial. No mercy, even for Jessica. We all felt a bit gratified.
そうか。クラウスの子で次期当主ということは。
Yeah.
ジェシカは
You can
妹に
pinch
当
her
たる
all
ん
you
だな。
want. Just don't make it weird. Battler would make it weird, so I hope you don't. He was so used to Jessica being an only child that, though the scuffle between the two looked perfectly natural, something didn't feel quite right about it.
ジェシカ、もう少し妹らしい言葉遣いはできないのかい？ついでに言うと、もう少し年頃の女性らしい言葉遣いにも気をつけてみるべきだね。あと、次期当主様なんて呼び方は嫌いだって、いつも。
うぜえぜ。私は私らしく
I
生きちゃ
mean, you're looking more girlish than her, Leon, not gonna lie.
次期当主様みてえにお上品に生きてたら息が詰まっちまわ。やめて、つねんないで。
Monkey bite, monkey bite!
妹いじめ、変態、反対、痛い痛い。
ジェシカ、お客様もいらしているというのに、 どうまた母さんに言いつけられたいかな。
Don't want to catch the fucking sandal.
あれはあれで仲睦まじいな。
リオンは次期当主として火の打ちどころのない素晴らしい人だからね。ま、素晴らしすぎてジェシカちゃんの気持ちもちょっぴりわかるかな。
Yeah, weird. Almost like they're not real.
何をしても比較される。だからグレると。
Man, fucking lose for Jessica, huh?
もしジェシカちゃんが一人っ子として生まれてたら、きっと落ち着きのある真相の令嬢になったかと思う。それは面白い想像だね。
安心しろ。
She's got a rebel spirit. She's either gonna rebel against, you know, being forced to be, you know, stuck up and whatnot, or, you know, being forced to be compared against her other sibling.
あの性格は一人っ子でも変わらねえ。
ジョージお兄ちゃん、この人誰？
That's a good question, Maria.
あなたとは初対面ですよね。でも後ろ宮家にはお詳しそうだ。僕はジョージ。
A family acquaintance.
彼女はマリア。よろしく。
ウィルダ、ベアトリーチェについて調べている。知っていることを聞かせてほしい。
ベアトリーチェ？
Yep, go off, Maria.
ほらね、ベアトリーチェはいるの。
Yep, just absolutely fucking dump us with your autistic hyperfixation. Though Maria had looked hostile towards this unfamiliar man, as soon as she heard the name of the witch she loved pass his lips, her eyes began to sparkle.
ほら、マリアちゃん。お客様にちゃんとご挨拶をしないと。
こんにちは。後ろ宮マリアと申します。
Oh, God, I'm yawning so much. I mean, at least it's better than sneezing and
ベアトリーチェを知
coughing.
ってる人がいて嬉しい。
It's super rainy the past couple days, and that probably knocked a lot of the pollen out of the air,
握手
too. Definitely big help. Maria suddenly stuck out her small hand, and Will reached out for it reflexively. As soon as he did, he felt a bright light seep out from the gap between their hands. The theater-going power that Bernkastel had given him had affected Maria.
ベアトリーチェはね、六軒島の魔女なの。いつもね、マリアが六軒島に来るたびに一緒に遊んでくれるの。マリアのね、一番のお友達で、マリアージュ・ソルシエールの仲間な
Well,
の。
you know, she's like your only, you know, human, quote-unquote, friend. The light grew brighter and brighter. This time, he could feel himself being drawn into Maria's world. Hey, capital letter Maria. I'm Ushermia Maria. My mama is Rosa. My papa, I don't have a papa. I think I remember Mom showing me a picture long ago, saying, "This is your papa." It was a picture of a man with a dark suntan on a beach wearing a swimsuit. Later on, when I learned what papa meant, I asked Mama to show me that picture again, but she said there wasn't any photo like that. But there was. I drew a picture of it and showed it to Mama. When I did, she got really mad and said that photo didn't exist, or that, if it did, she had already thrown it away. Ever since then, she kept saying that I didn't have a papa.
知ってる？パパとママがいないと赤ちゃんができないって言われてるけど、
Yeah.
それは嘘なんだよ。
All you need is two people. Doesn't matter the relation.
少女解体か。
ミヨ、乙女が身ごもって男の子を産むであろう。その名はインマヌエルなり。マリアはもし男の子に生まれていたなら、それが名前だったかもしれない。
It's a bit of a, you know, heavy name for you.
マタイ伝一章20節。
違うよ、23節。20節は
Which Bible are you guys talking about? Because I could change the
見つかいが夢に現れていった。
change it up
ダビデの子、ヨセフよ。
depending, you know, which verses and which books get cut.
妻マリアを迎えることを恐れるな。その腹に宿るものは精霊によるものなり。
お前の父親は精霊だというわけだ。
パパがいるのが
I think
当
you're
たり
pretty
前だと言わ
self-important,
れ
huh?
た。パパがいないなんておかしい、変な子だ、かわいそうな子だと言われた。でもママに聞いても パパなんかいない、知らない、存在しないと言われた。聞くだけで怒られて叩かれた。
Yeah, that tracks for Rosa.
だからマリアは自分が誰から生まれたかよくわからなくなった。
Found you in a cabbage patch.
マリアは人間として正しくない。
You fucking
未
got that
熟で
right.
不正な存在。みんなとは違う。おかしな。
Irregular creature is a very good apt description for Maria.
親も他人も関係ね
Yeah, we're not here for you. We're here about
え。お
Beatrice.
前はお前だ。
それを未熟な幼児に教えるのは
True.
きっと難しかったろうね。ひょっとしたら
Kids are dumb.
幼稚園の先生はいじめられて泣く私にそう諭してくれたのかもしれない。
It's hard to sink in.
でもそんな慰めでは私の心の空白、疑問、どんな言葉も私の疑問に答えてはくれなかった。
その疑問に答えたのがザ・ブックだというのか。
The good book?
神父様がね、来たの。
Do you go to a Catholic school? I mean, I it would track, a private rich kid school. I think a sermon was part of class to enrich our minds. To most of us kids, it was no different from an ordinary fairy tale a teacher could have told us. No, it was harder to understand, and I think that made us bored. Then at the end, the priest said something important.
神は何でも知っているか。
だからマリアは聞いた。マリアにはママしかいない。パパはない。パパがなくてもマリアはママから生まれてきた。
And then he just smiles and nods, and he's like, yep, that's cool. Not gonna fucking open this can of worms.
それはおかしくて悲しいことなのって。
It's like, nah, just like Jesus. The priest taught me. He said there was nothing strange about a child having no papa. After all, Jesus Christ was born of a virgin. And the one who gave birth to him was the Blessed Virgin Maria? Close. I was surprised. Maria, the name I was given, was the answer all along.
だからマリアはびっくりして神父様に聞き直したの。
I guess it could be depending on the translation.
聖母マリアは一人で赤ちゃんが産めたんだって。じゃあマリアも一人で赤ちゃんが産めるのって。
It's like how fucking Jesus' name is like Yosef.
神父は何と答えた？
It's just Latinized or whatever to Jesus.
聖母マリアが赤ちゃんを身ごもれたのは聖霊のおかげだからって。またいで一節に
It's ectoplasm.
講談。
There was a spooky ghost.
その腹に宿るものは聖霊によるものなり。またマリアはびっくりした。
And then this class of elementary school children have to get the birds and the bees talk from their teacher. Be like, what the fuck he's talking about?
これはどういうことだと思う？
お前はこう解釈した。後ろ宮マリアには人間の父はいない。本当の父は聖霊だと。
Regardless of what the Bible actually meant, a young, sad girl who had lost her sense of identity because of her lack of a father had finally created a way to understand herself.
それを知ったとき、私はなぜ他の子たちと自分だけが違うのかを理解したの。私をバカにするみんなはヨセフの子。
Mm-hmm.
でも私だけは違った。私はみんなより劣ってなんかいない。私は神の子、精霊の子だった。帰ってママに話したよ。マリアにはパパなんていない。ママはママで、マリアは神様の力で生
Cool.
まれてきたんだよ。
Probably blasphemous on a lot of denominations, but more power to you if that helps you sleep at night. It's probably painful for Rosa whenever Maria asks about her father. Why do I have no papa when everyone else has a papa and a mama? Every time she asked this, Rosa flew into a rage and changed the subject. And now, somehow or another, Maria had independently found an explanation that satisfied her. She had no papa. She was the child of Mama and God. It isn't too difficult to imagine that Rosa, after hearing the explanation the young girl had found in the Bible, might have gone along with it as though it were true.
ベアとは
Little
宇宙
convenient
を生
white
み出
lies,
す
you
最
know.
小の人数
Make the world go
2
round.
人だと言った。私はこれを両親がいないと子はなせないという意味だと感じた。その時 私は思ったの。ベアとは魔女だけれど人間から生まれた魔女なんだって。
Okay.
ベアとは精霊の子じゃない。でも私は違う。ママだけから生まれた。精霊から生まれた。ベアとは私と一緒じゃなきゃ宇宙を作れない。
You're an odd little creature, aren't you, Maria?
でも私は、神は我らと共に
You're
あ
gonna
る。
need to go to therapy.
私一人でも精霊と共に宇
You're
宙
not
が
a bad
作
kid.
れ
You
る。
just need some help.
ベアとは私を原初の魔女と呼んだ。そしてやがては一人で全てを生み出せる造物主になれるよと言ってくれた。私が一人で無から有を創造する。
Yeah, and then you can go along with the Taiping Rebellion and, you know, help establish the Heavenly Kingdom as a sibling of Jesus Christ with your celestial family.
それをベアとが無限に膨らませる。
God, the fucking Taiping Rebellion is so fucking wild. Insanity. Read about it or watch a YouTube video.
園児はそれを受け継ぎ、語り広げる魔女の使徒だった。
Man went insane from failing the fucking, oh god, what is it? The you know, China, civilian government bureau fucking bureaucrat exam. You know the one I learned about in my early Chinese or East Asian history course that I had a month ago, but I already brain dumped it. Whatever. That he failed that like 3 times and then went crazy and thought he was the brother of Jesus Christ and proceeded to, you know, have one of the most, you know, costly, you know, in human lives metric, you know, wars in human history. Good times.
マリアージュ・ソルシエルか。
1と無限は大きく違う。だからベアとは偉い。でも無と有の前には1も無限も同じ有でしかない。私は世界で一番の魔女。世界で一番偉い造物主になることを約束されていた子。マリアージュ・ソルシエールはそんな私を温める卵の巣。私は後ろ宮マリア、神と共にあるマリア。
Cool, can we talk about Beatrice? What was it? I think it was just the civil examinations or whatever. I'm gonna Google it now because it's driving me crazy. China civil, not Civil War. There's a lot of those. Civil service exam. That's what it was. I was close. The name is just so simple that it's like, no, that can't possibly be it. You'd expect something more, I don't know, not quite grandiose, but more specific, other than, yeah, it's the civil service exam in order to become a civil servant with the government. If we liken Maria's sense of identity to a universe, then this endless stream of words coming from her might be like the Big Bang. She spent so long tormented over how to interpret her lack of a father, then by chance, she saw a line in the Bible that seemed to affirm her existence, and she finally formed an understanding of herself. The sad girl, who hated herself for being different from all of her classmates, finally found her own meaning. At that moment, Maria's universe, which had once been nothingness, was born as a clump of ultra-hot, ultra-high-grade, ultra-high-pressured energy. Then, later on, she went to Rokinjima, met the endless witch who called herself Beatrice, and the clump of energy exploded in a big bang, giving birth to their joint system of magic. That was the universe known as the Mirage Sorcière. They're gonna put the accents on, I'm gonna say it with the accents. It might not be the right accent, but it is a accent.
話が少し飛躍しすぎだ。順を追う。
いいよ、どこから？
自分は精霊の子だと解釈したお前が、そこから次第にオカルトに傾倒していくことは容易に理解できる。そこからだ。そんなお前がベアトリーチェとどこで出会い、どのよ。
それは本当にある日、
I mean,
突然
as
の
most meetings
唐
do.
突なこと。 六軒島に住まうベアトリーチェという魔女に私は会ってみたかったの。同じ魔女として。
その頃にはもう自分が魔女という自覚
Yeah,
があっ
she was already lost in the sauce.
あった。その頃には聖書とオカルトでは大人にも負けないくらいの知識があったから。
That's because you're in Japan. Most people don't know dog shit about the Bible.
だから私は魔法は使えずとも自分を魔女だと信じてた。ちょっと滑稽だね。だから私は魔女見習いなの。
いつ
You just know
ベ
the
アトリー
theory,
チ
you
ェ
just
と出会
can't
った
put it into practice yet.
よくは覚えてない。でもその出会いはよく覚えてる。それはとてもとても唐突だった。
Oh, she just burst in the room and be like, hey, it's me, Beatrice. Want to see some magic?
そなたが後ろ宮マリアか。
It was such a very, very abrupt encounter. I had just been drinking some milk tea all alone in the Rose Garden Arbor. Mama said she had to talk about something important with Uncle Kraus, so she told me to go outside and play. Suddenly, she was sitting right there. I didn't know anyone that spoke that way. I quickly realized that she was someone I didn't know at all.
あなたは誰？
会いたいと言ったのはそなただ。わらわの島に魔女が訪ねてくるから出迎えてやったというのに、そなたはわらわの名を問うというのか。
ベアトリーチェ。
いかにもわらわ
Good
が
guess.
ベ
Yes, yes, Beatrice.
確かに唐突だな。
Didn't mean to cut her off. I'm just completely off my game today. I hope you will forgive me.
とっても。魔女や精霊はいつだって私たちのそばにいる。彼らが姿を見せようとしないだけで。そして彼らが姿を見せたなら、それはあまりに唐突に、そして当たり前にそこにい
A lot of
る。
belief systems like that.
私はそれをまさに知ったの。
そしてベアトリーチェと友達に。
彼女はママの用事が終わるまでずっと私とおしゃべりをしてくれた。魔法の話や魔女の話、
You know, just girl things.
マリアが精霊の子であることも。
その時のベアトリーチェの印象は。
こう言っては悪いけど、知識だけなら私が上だった。最初は彼女のことを大した魔女じゃないと見下しかけた。まあそれは私のうぬぼれ。魔法体験にはいろんなものがある。
Yeah, you know, just different schools.
ましてや私のそれは独学。ベアトの魔法体系とは異なったから、私が一方的にそういう印象を持ってしまったんだろうね。
You might have been, you know, very knowledgeable in a niche topic, and, you know, Beatrice has a more well-rounded general knowledge.
すぐにそれを後悔して謝ることになるの。
謝る？ベアトリーチェが何かお前の尊敬を勝ち取ることをしてみせ
Yeah,
た。
she did a magic trick.
なるほど。魔法を
It's
見
like,
せ
fuck,
た
I can't even do magic yet. Good thing you're a dumb child and easy to trick. We moved to the beach and talked lots, sitting at a table under an umbrella.
なるほど。マリア、そなたは実に勤勉だ。その年で千年の魔女のわらわにそれだけの講釈をできるとは、実に尊敬に値する。
Let's just butter him up.
そなたは何の魔法を使えるのか。
魔法？
そなたが魔女を語るならば、魔法の一つも見せられるであろうが。
I was stunned for a second. Of course, it should have been obvious. I was the child of the Holy Ghost, and since I'd studied so much of the occult, I was also a witch, not a human. Till that day, I had been so sure of both these things. So, when I was asked what sort of magic I could use, it left me in a daze.
魔法を知り、語るに至ってようやく見習いよ。そしてそれを魔法という形で実践できてこそ魔女というものではないか。
Yeah, that tracks.
マリアはまだ魔女じゃないの？
よく学んでいる。 そして
It's like you may know how to like build a table, but you know, until you actually, you know, do it and get it evaluated, you know, you can't move past your apprenticeship.
そなたはやがてわらわなど足元にも及ばぬ偉大な魔女、あるいはそなたが言うように造物主の座にさえ上り詰めるだろう。しかしまだ幼く若いそなたは
Yeah, some rough edges need to get sanded off.
見習いだ。魔女の見習いというところよ。
So I get too big for
ベアト
britches.
は魔法を使うことができるの？
無論であるとも。魔法を使えずし
Yeah,
て
just
魔
close
女
your
を
eyes.
名乗ることなどできぬわ。
すごい。見せて！ベアトの魔法見せて！
Until this day, Maria had never doubted the magic-related concept that she was the child of the Holy Ghost. However, no one had ever proved to her that the occult phenomena actually existed. Maria could create a universe all by herself. However, she wanted to share it with a second person so that she could believe in it even more strongly.
かつてのわらわならば空に虹をかき、それを七色のキャンディーに変えて自由にかじらせることもできた。
You'll have to settle for this little cantrip.
しかし今のわらわは姿を保つことさえ満足にできぬほどに衰えている。
How
さっき
convenient.
聞いた。あの鎮守の社のせいで力が出せないって。
力を取り戻すにはかなりの時間をかける。虹をキャンディーにしてやることは今はできぬ。しかしささやかな魔法にてその一端を見せることはできようぞ。
見たい！ベアトの魔法見たい！
Oh, if, you know, you're okay with not actually seeing it, just seeing
よかろう。
the aftermath.
しかしそなたにも協力を求めねばならぬぞ。先ほども言った。いかにそなたが汚れなき魂を持とうとも、人間はもはや汚
Yeah,
れ
this little thing called
魔
common
法を
sense
拒む毒素に満ちていると。
聞いた。
and rationality.
半魔法の毒素があるって聞いた。マリアの読んだ本には載ってなかった。だからそれを知ってるベアトはすごい。
Beatrice lifted up an empty teacup, then turned it around in front of Maria to show that there weren't any tricks or strings.
伏せたカップにキャンディーが現れる魔法か。
どうしてわかるの？ウィルはすごいね。
You know, it's a
魔
common
女が使
trick.
う魔法もわかるんだね。
The most basic of magics.
魔女の魔法の基本だから。
There we go. Play
カップ
along.
は
Keep the ball
何の仕掛
rolling.
けもない普通のカップだったよ。私は見たかった。
Maria had a desire. She had a desire to discover the occult in others, to help her believe that there was an occult side to herself. That was why she agreed to help Beatrice with her magic. She didn't want her own toxin to ruin her chance of knowing the miracles of magic.
よいぞ。さあ、そのカップを開けてみるがいい。
あ、キャンディーだ。キャンディーだ。
Wild.
わらわからそなたへの挨拶代わりと
Couldn't possibly
新し
be
き魔
hiding
女との
anything
出
up
会いと
those, you know,
友情に
big baggy
Sorry,
sleeves of
oh,
yours, huh? This was a true miracle of magic. For the first time, I felt shame and embarrassment at my conceit. I could feel that sense of omnipotence disappear. The idea that I was the child of the Holy Ghost and more important and the most important and special person in the world. Instead of a child of the Holy Ghost who couldn't do anything, I'd rather be a witch who could use magic. I, Ushurmiya Maria, wanted to become a witch, starting off as a witch apprentice. I already was obsessed with Beato.
マリアも本当の魔女になりたい。ベアトの弟子になりたい。
謙遜を。そなたには十分な才能と日々の精進があるぞ。それにかつての力のあるわらわならともかく、この程度の魔法しか使えぬ衰えたわらわでは。
Yeah, so go off and, I don't know, train in the mountains.
マリアは魔女の弟子にはなれない。
わらわの弟子にはできぬ。しかし、友人にはできる。
There we go.
うん。わらわとそなたは、これより友人だ。これからも共に、深き魔女の世界を語り合おうではないか。
ベアト、ありがとう。このベアトのキャンディー食べてもいい？
Eh, sure, it's just candy.
いいや、それは土産にせよ。食べずに、そなたの可愛らしいカバンに収めよ。
Ah, it'll get like smushed. Or like melt.
お家で食べる。
Like, even if it's like a hard candy, it'll still get moist at some point. Like, inside your bag's gonna get sticky.
マリア、そのキャンディーは魔法で生み出されたものだ。故に脆い。そなたがわらわの存在をその毒素で否定したなら、と
おー、嫌だ。ベアトからもらった大切な魔法消えるの嫌だ。
ならば、わらわという魔女に出会ったことを決して忘れてはなら
A
ぬ。
little something to remember by.
そなたがわらわとのささやかな約束を守る限り、そなたがまたこの島へ来るときは、再びわらわがそなたを
Yeah,
迎
you're
えよ
needed
う。
for this plot. Several years in the making, apparently.
約束って何？
まずはそうだな。家へ帰ったら手を洗う。うがいをする。めんどくさがってはならぬぞ。魔女。
守る。毎日お家に帰ってきたら手を洗う。
You should probably do that anyway, coming home from school.
うがいをする。そうしたらまた会ってくれる？
I mean, kids are fucking gross.
約束しようぞ。そなたがわらわとの約束をきっちり守れたなら、そなたの体は清められ、わらわもさらに魔力を取り戻す。さすれば次に来るときはより素晴らしい魔法を見せよ
I
う。
don't know, Beatrice. It seems, real simple.
約束守る。絶対。マリアはなる。ベアトの友達になって魔女見習いになる。
良き心がけであるぞ。後ろ宮マリアよ。そなたが早く一人前の魔女になって、わらわの良き友人に成長してくれることを。
Mm-hmm. Just get even more lost in the sauce.
これが私の初めてのベアトリーチェとの出会いだったと思う。
そのもらった飴は家に帰ってもちゃんとあったか？
うん。でもその存在を少しだけ疑ったから飴は溶けかかっていた。
No, I think it's just because it's candy.
私は彼女を疑いかけたことを後悔したよ。もしもっと疑っていたら飴は消えてなくなっていたに違いない。
I mean, you probably just tossed it in a drawer then.
そしたら私は目の当たりにした魔法の奇跡の証拠を失うところだった。
飴が溶けていたのか？
飴というよりはキャラメルだったと思う。
Yeah, huh.
溶けかかってぐにゃぐにゃだった。
Damn, almost like it was in your bag during like a late autumn day.
それは何月頃の話だ？
詳しく覚えてない。でもミルクティーがアイスだったことは覚えてる。
It was summer.
それが何？
なんでもない。ベアトリーチェに出会ったことは。
Oh, Maria,
Rosa ni wa
you dumb
hanashita.
child. Can't blame you though, you've probably had multiple TBIs in your life so far.
その日のお夕飯の時にみんなに話した。クラウスおじさんに笑われた。そしたら隣の席のママにその話は終わりにしなさいって怒られた。おう。
隣の席？序列上、お前の席はローザと隣り合わないはずだ。
Well, if they were there in the summer, it wasn't the family conference.
親族会議じゃないもん。ママとマリアだけが訪ねた時の話。だからクラウスおじさん一家全員とママとマリアしかいない。
Yeah, this is before, you know, everyone's family situation got real fucking bad and just, you know, stressed and tense. So, you know, just family visit dropping by.
席は詰めるから親族会議の時とはお席がちょっと違うの。
うん。お前の隣の席にローザだったんだな。
うん。
Yeah, within striking distance.
それが何？
なんでもない。ベアトリーチェとロッケン島以外で会ったことは？
ないよ。 だってベアとは体が希薄で自由には動けないんだもの。
She's trapped.
マリアの体に乗り移ってもいいよって言ったけど、島からは離れられないからできないって言ってた。
その後は六軒島へ
She
行
may
く
have
旅に
escaped
会
her
ってい
cage
た
of
という
flesh,
こ
but
と
this, you know, island's a fucking Russian nesting doll. You know, cages inside cages inside cages.
私たちは大の仲良しになった。ベアトと話せば話すほどに彼女は本当にすごい魔女だと思い知ったよ。彼女は会うたびにいつも素敵な魔法を見せてくれた。そして私とは異なる魔法体系を聞かせてくれて、二人で魔法の深
Just
淵を語り
being
合
Chuni
ったよ。
together. Nice.
私は早く彼女の高みに登りたいと思った。ベアトのような魔女の域に達したいと願った。
ベアトリーチェを
Well, we all have those
母親に
phases,
紹介した
don't
こと
lie. I already talked about mine before. God, months ago, probably.
ないよ。ママは毒素が強すぎるからまだ会えないって言ってた。
Also, your mother would have a cow and probably beat the shit out of, you know, Beatrice. And after that, the jig would be up.
大人はほとんどダメだって。みんな汚れてるから。
お前以外にベアトリーチェの姿を見ることができた者はいるのか？
Well, we know Shannon the Cannon can.
最初は無理だった。魔力が弱いからね。毒素に少しでも近づくと体が壊れてしまうって。でも次第に魔力を蓄えてマリア以外の毒素の少ない人の前にも現れられるようになったよ。
それは誰だ？
あんまり多くない。使用人の一部の人だけだった。
具体的には？
今日いる使用人全員。お？
Well, all?
合田さんは違うと思う。
つまり源氏、シャノン、カノン、熊沢の
Yeah,
4
that
人という
tracks.
ことか。
あと南條先生も。
Really? Apparently, they would sometimes come to visit Maria and Beatrice's witch tea parties. Of course, it was only for small things, like bringing them extra tea. However, they were certainly aware of Beatrice and even talked with her. Almost like, you know, she was a familiar face and not, you know, a witch. Almost like, you know, just maybe, I don't know, one of their co-workers just hanging, you know, fulfilling the duty of, you know, being a host. Just saying.
使用人たちはベアトリーチェとはどう接していた？
Like it was natural.
存在しないはずの客人だ。驚いたりはしないのか？
しないよ。
Mm-hmm.
だってベアトリーチェはお屋敷のもう一人の主だもの。
Just playing the game of, you know, play pretend. And no one, you know, wants to be the one to crush the child's dreams. She said that the servants treated Beatrice as an honored guest, and sometimes they were permitted to witness the new miracle of magic along with Maria.
つまり1986年の六軒島でベアトリーチェに実際に会えたのはゴーダを除く使用人4人とお前と南條の合計6人だけだったということか？
ベアトもそれ以外の人の前に現れるにはもっともっと魔力を蓄える必要があると言ってた。
つまりそれ以外の人間の前にもやがては姿を現すつもりだったわけか？
すべての人間たち
She
に
may say
自
that,
分を
but
認めさせる日こそが自分の復活の日だって言ってた。
Maria, the servants, and Nanjo had acknowledged her. She had probably chosen those humans whose anti-magic toxin was weakest and appeared before them first. Beatrice's game must have been to steadily increase the number of humans who could recognize her, till she could make everyone on the island acknowledge her. In that case, the last person for Beatrice to appear in front of would be Battler, the one said to have the strongest anti-magic power. Does that mean Beatrice thought that Balor would be the hardest one to convince? It seems true that Balor was one of Beatrice's goals. I'm gonna sneeze. However, if we go with Balor's chessboard thinking, we might say that Beatrice, who wanted others to acknowledge her existence, was someone who could not exist unless she was acknowledged. Balor reached this thought himself back in the first game. Yes, there's something different about the Beatrice of 1986. She's different from the Italian Beatrice or the Ecuadorian Beatrice, both of whom certainly did exist. The Beatrice of 1986, of whom we are so familiar with in a mysterious way, yet who has no existence. What does it mean to kill the Beatrice who has no existence? The minimum number of people required to create a universe is 2. However, Maria had said that even a single person could give birth to a universe. And yet, Maria had desired a second person to nurture the world she had given birth to alone. Because if it was born and not nurtured, it would die and disappear? Let's replace the word universe with Beatrice. The minimum number of people required to create Beatrice is 2. However, even a single person could give birth to her. And yet, that single person desired a second person to acknowledge the Beatrice created by the first person. That meeting with a second person is the scene that Maria had just described. A single person who created Beatrice had looked for a second person to acknowledge Beatrice, and selected Maria. We don't need Frodo Erika's heartless reasoning to know that the teacup magic was a sleight of hand. Maria, believing the story about the anti-magic toxin, would close her eyes whenever magic happened. Any sleight of hand would be possible while she had her eyes closed. The caramel Maria had been given as proof of their meeting with a witch had melted a little because Maria had doubted. In a season where one was likely to put ice in their tea, it was only natural for a caramel left in a bag to melt. Ushiromiya Maria, the girl who's too trusting and willing to accept a story easily. Beatrice appeared first in front of this girl, who had, in the language of witches, very little of the anti-magic toxin. Yeah, she's a simpleton. Dull. Touched. It'd be like in the creation of Beatrice to the laying of an egg. Then, when a single person creates her, it is no more than a delusion. Like a chick inside the egg. If, and only if, a second person acknowledges her, the shell cracks and she appears. She only appears when a second person comes to warm the egg. When Maria had acknowledged Beatrice, she finally hatched, and the chick was born. In that case, Ménage Sorcière, which nurtured Beatrice and their system of magic, was like a nest. Beatrice had a dignified presence, called herself the Witch of Rokkenjima, and claimed to have lived 1,000 years. Thinking about the Beatrice who appeared in the previous game, it sounds less like the chick Beato and more like Beato the Elder. So, does this mean that the meeting Maria had just spoken of marks the birth of Beato the Elder? The egg itself had already been created by the first person. During the time before the meeting with Maria, it matured fully inside its shell, becoming the character with a dignified presence of 1,000 years. Then, when Maria acknowledged it, it hatched, and the Witch of Rokkenjima finally gained a form. Perhaps that moment marks the birth of the Beatrice of 1986. The younger chick Beato was born out of love for Battler. Since the birth has not yet occurred at this point in time, then the birth of Beato the Elder and the existence of Beatrice at this time must have nothing to do with Battler. Are you enjoying this reasoning, Burn Cassell? If you are, let's at least have some applause from the audience. Thank you. Great. Thanks a bunch. Good to know she can listen to your inner mind.
マリアはベアトに魔法で叶えてほしい願いがたくさんあるの。だからベアトが復活するのに協力してるの。
願いとは何だ？
いっぱいある。内緒。
黒き魔女からママを守ってほしいか。
Well, yes.
どうしてウィルは何でもわかるの？
He smirked.
すごいよ。
魔女に願わねば取り戻せない世界だとお前はもう思っているのか。
Yeah, real easy to hook an accomplice that way.
ママは大好き。
Some juicy bait.
優しい。いつまでも一緒にいたい。永遠に。
今度はマリアージュ・ソルシエルについて聞きたい。どうした？
やだ。
Hey, you're not a member.
何？
私、喉が渇いちゃったからジュース飲んでくる。
Okay.
またね。
Maria suddenly started acting distant, battered head, and left without waiting for a reply. It was a very un-Maria-like thing to do. I see. So, the game master has moved the piece. Apparently, she's telling me to ask about something different for now. At some point, Leon had started chatting with the other family members. Jessica seemed to be getting irritated at having her butt pinched so much, and George was trying to calm her down. Jessica and George. Guess I'll hear their stories next. Compared to Maria, the anti-magic toxin is very strong in these two. At least at the beginning of the other games, they didn't acknowledge Beatrice. Maria showed me the point of view of one who believes. Now, let's hear from those who don't. Yeah, let's hear from the skeptics. Oh. Oh, God, I'm so tired. I need to do yard work too, but I'm not going to do it today. It rained all weekend and my grass is still wet. It'll just choke my mower.
さっきはその次期当主様のせいでお見苦しい
Yeah,
と
it's
こを
very
見せちゃっ
undignified.
て。
あざになってねえか。
Oh, it probably will.
あいつマジで容赦ね
ジェシカ、何か言ったかい？
何ももう十分懲りたって。
Leon, who had apparently been chatting with the adult siblings, spun around with a smile and stared at Jessica. Looks like the older siblings, looks like the older siblings firmly in control around here.
あいつその上地獄耳だな。ようやくリオンってやつが理解できてきた。
Do you?
そうそうそうそう。昔から妙に勘が良くって。その上ほら大人受けが妙にいいし。
And you're as sharp as a spoon, so, ooh, must be rough for you.
私は家でも学校でも比べられてる。
そういえばリオンは中学も高校も生徒会長だったね。バドミントンの部長もやってたよね。
Really, badminton.
行く先々でリオンと比較されてひでえ目にあったというわけだ。
Just whacking that shuttlecock, huh?
私は中学に入って行ったぜ。その時はもう副会長やってた。来年は生徒会長になる気だろう。私の肩身が狭くなるからやめてくれって。でも翌年にちゃっかり立候補して当選しちゃいやがった。高校でもそう。今度こそやめてくれって言
Sometimes
った
you're
のに
outclassed.
その時点でもまた副会長でまた3年になるのと同時に会長になりやがった。父さんはちやほやちやほや、母さんはあなたも妹として恥ずかしくないよ頑張りなさいってチクチクチクチク。
Not like student council actually means anything. I mean, I know it's different in Japanese, like high schools,
でも
but
そんなリオンの
Still.
妹であることを
it's
誇りにも思って
it's
る
your
ん
high
でしょ。
school student council. Calm down.
別にそんなこと思ったことはねえぜ。ああねえぜ。全然ねえぜ。
Yep, of course, sure.
上が完璧だと息もつまらん。だが他人は他人、お前はお前だ。何も萎縮することはない。お前のしたいように精一杯好きにしたらいい。
もちろん。でも母さんたちは後ろ宮リオンの妹として恥ずかしくないよ、あと引き継げってうるさい。生徒会に入れだの、バドミントンやれだの。
軽音楽はや
Just
っ
do
て
a
いな
different
いのか。
sport. Yeah, you can see the calluses on your fingers.
それは秘密。内緒。
Apparently, she was keeping a secret from her family. Interesting. People often like to blame their family for what they've grown up to be like. But even in a different world with a different family, the interests of the girl called Jessica are the same as ever. It's admirable that she has such a true and constant interest in something.
俺は好きだぞ。ペッタンペッタンとか。
Zulu Peton?
スイーツスイーツとか。
Except that version got cut from the game. No Toho references for us. Nothing wrong with an extraordinary accomplished sort, like Leon, but kids who act their age do have their charms.
そういう生き方が一番だ。謳歌しろ。青春を。
そりゃどうも。
No need to burn yourself out. Apparently, no one had ever told Jessica that they approved of how she lived. And the direct way Will had put it made her turn red and hang her head in embarrassment.
今度はお前たちに話が聞きたい。
さっきマリアちゃんとしていた？
Mm-hmm.
そうだ。ベアトリーチェについて知っていることは。
Yeah, now that Maria's gone, you can talk freely without, getting ooh, 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 that, and, Maria slamming her head on a table or something.
マリアちゃんはオカルトや魔女のことが大好きだからね。彼女にとってベアトリーチェはアニメのヒロインと同じ憧れの存在なんだよ。何か些細なことがあるたびにそれを魔女の魔法によるいたずらだと信じてる。
お前は大人だな。そしてそうは思ってもマリアには絶対に言わないところも大人だ。
当然さ。子供の夢は子供の時にしか見られない。その貴重な経験を尊重するのが大人の仕事だと思ってるよ。
お前とは話がありそうだ。
Gotta pretend to be Santa and the Easter Bunny for at least a little bit. George's position was that Beatrice was nothing more than a fairy tale. However, the phrase "respecting a child's dreams is an adult thing to do" that might be worthy of further scrutiny. When she got a candy from Beatrice by magic, Maria probably got excited and told George and the others. Then, the adults followed his lead and positively went along with her story, as adults should. However, there could be no other ways this sort of reaction could occur, other than as the adult's response to a child's claims. For example, it could be an inferior's response to the claims of their superior. If Kinzo, tyrant of the Ushirimiya family, claimed that Beatrice existed and had revived, perhaps the other members of the family would positively go along with his story, as his inferior should. Like, yeah, that's great, Dad. Good, great, awesome. Glad that makes you happy. Let's go talk to Dr. Nanjo, okay? He's got some gummies for you, they'll make you feel good. Though Beatrice only appeared directly in front of a limited number of people, it's probably safe to say that the concept of her existence penetrated deeply within the Ushirimiya family, even among those who had never seen her. However, no matter how deeply that concept penetrated, she was only viewed as a sort of fairy tale character. It would be necessary to transform the concept of that character from an imaginary fairy tale into reality. So, a person attempting to do this would need to perform something that could only conceivably be done by magic. And that something was a series of witch incidents that started with the nighttime window opening pranks played by Beato the Elder, and ultimately escalated to locked room murders. Beato the Elder referred to this, saying that the anti-magic power filling the mansion would be weakened bit by bit the more she made her existence known. Beatrice. Why did you desire so greatly to make all others accept your existence? Because the imaginary becomes the truth if everyone accepts it? Because at that moment, the being called Beatrice will be acknowledged and will become human? In that case, before Beatrice is acknowledged by all people, she's less than human. She's furniture. Why would furniture want to become human? For love? Feels like this was the theme of the previous game. Because they want to gain the right. Furniture cannot. So they try to become human for the right to. It's really quite simple. It's directly connected to the reason the chick Beato was born in the first place. Look at me, I'm so smart, I connected the dots, I'm so smart.
なるほどな。 分かってはいるが複雑だ。
I can't ignore the heart.
ベアトリーチェの葬儀に参加しておいてこんなことを言うのも申し訳ないけれど、僕も説明できるほどベアトリーチェという人物のことに
Yeah, that's fair.
詳しくないんで
You
す。
only have like tertiary
申
knowledge.
し訳ない。その話はここに住んでるジェシカちゃんの方が僕よりも
Or,
も
well,
う少しは
secondary.
詳し
You
いか
know,
も
if
し
you're
れない。
getting it from Maria. Maria would be your primary source. Or would Maria be the secondary source because Beatrice herself be the primary source? So, is it tertiary? I don't know, and I'm not going to dwell on this.
そういえばジェシカちゃん、こちらの方を紹介したっけ？
いや、実はまだ。お客様がいらっしゃるってのに尻ばっかつねるどっかの誰かのせいできちんと挨拶もできなかったぜ。
A bit late, Jessica looked embarrassed for acting rudely in front of an unfamiliar guest. She cleared her throat and made a beautiful bow that didn't fit well with her normal attitude. She even lifted the corners of her skirt in a curtsy.
はじめまして。
And you stuttered on it.
ジェシカと
Okay,
申
I
します。
stuttered too.
本日は後ろ宮家へようこそ。いや、お日柄もよく、
ウィラードだ。ウィルと呼べ。
What are you so thrown off balance about? Jessica's greeting had been of the old-fashioned sort, so Will also treated her like an old-fashioned lady. He bent down on a knee, took Jessica's right hand, and kissed the back of it. Okay, fair. Not expecting her greeting to be returned in such an old-fashioned and formal way, Jessica turned red and was unable to speak. However, Will had returned the greeting in what he thought was a perfectly serious way, and did not understand what was making Jessica's face glow.
何かお
Yeah,
かし
you're
い
the
こ
one
と
who
をした。
started it.
いや、全然。
お前の知っているベアトリーチェの話が聞き
You
たい。
don't get all flustered because he played along. A glow leaked from Will's right hand, which was grasping Jessica's. Yes, plot power. Spill the beans. Looks like the theater-going power is having its effect on Jessica. Oh, didn't mean for that to happen. Oh well.
ベアトリーチェのことだっけ？話してもいいけど、約束してくれる？絶対に笑わないって。今にして思うと、きっと寝ぼけてたんだと思うから。
お前は何を知っ
What,
てい
you
る？
see her every now and again, you know, like just turning the corner
笑わない。
late at night?
聞かせろ。
いいよ。どこから話そうかな。
To me, the Golden Witch Beatrice is sort of like one of the 7 mysteries of the Ushinomiya family. You've heard of those, right? Almost all schools have a set of tall tales or ghost stories that get passed down. Now that's just Japanese schools. You know, those ancient schools that were built in the 70s with long traditioned histories. Like, on some days, the piano in the music room will start playing by itself, or the skeleton in the science room dances around at night. Everyone's heard of them. But of course, that doesn't mean they believe in them. The stories about Beatrice were the same. It was just one of those strange tales about our way too big mansion. The servants would sometimes talk about seeing things or whatever during the night patrols. Sometimes, I felt a bit annoyed about them turning my home into a place for ghost stories, but I didn't pay it any more attention than that. That's how little it mattered to me. So, during my normal, everyday life, I would completely forget about the name Beatrice. Of course, when that huge portrait was first hung, I was definitely creeped out. I even tried not to meet her eyes after dark. So yeah, I don't blame the servants for finding it eerie. But that only lasted for a short while. I mean, I walked by that portrait every day. I gradually got used to it, and eventually bored of it. It was just a portrait that grandfather blew a bunch of money on, showing the mistress from his delusions. I was past caring.
だろうな。
Yeah, it's just your fucking granddad's waifu. It's like,
年に何度も来ない
yep,
親
that's
戚
cool.
連中ならともかく。
そういうこと。だから親族会議になると親戚たちが必ず肖像画の前で決まってベアトリーチェの話をする。
It's like you pass him the hall, he's wearing his Hatsune Miku shirt on his way to a fucking Vocaloid concert, and you just pretend not to see him.
だから定期的に思い出させられるのさ。
ベアトリーチェ、また遊びに来たよ。また新しい魔法を書いたの。後で見てね。
マリアちゃんは本当にベアトリーチェが好きだな。おじい様が肖像画を掲げて以来大喜びみたいだ。
あれ、エンジェは？
キリエおばさんと薬を飲みに戻ったよ。
Damn, poor Anjay, always sick.
エンジェは本当に体が弱えな。バートラとは大違いだぜ。
It's because Battler probably ate a lot of dirt as a kid, you know, build
緊
up
張
his
する
immune
と
system.
体調を崩すタイプなんだよ。僕も昔は遠足の日や映画の日なんかに限って体調を崩したりしたもんさ。
I think you guys just have like a genetic issue in your family.
それに比べたらマリアはタフだぜ。新島からこっちに来るまで
Well,
の
yeah, Maria
間、
also eats
ず
dirt,
っとベアトリーチェの話三昧さ。
A little botulism makes you strong as a kid.
ここしばらくずっとだけど、ちょっと行き過ぎだよな。
いいんじゃないかな。子供の想像遊びだよ。
It's like, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, unless it's tuberculosis, in which case, you know, fucking just kicks your ass till you're dead.
ジェシカちゃんは子供がサンタクロースに会ったことがあるって言い出したら嘘だって言っちゃうのかい？
Yeah, what are you talking about? He was right there at the
そ
mall.
こまでは言わねえけどさ。
Maria kept talking to the portrait as though it was an old friend. She promised to play with it later, as if she was talking to a living human. George, a man, seemed to think that this behavior from a younger member of the opposite sex was cute. But, to be perfectly frank, Jessica, who's of the same sex as Maria, found this behavior a bit unpleasant regardless of Maria's age. Really? Alright. Be a hater. One time, even I was fascinated by anime heroines and other fictional characters. However, Maria's behavior seemed to signify something more direct than mere fascination. Something much more definite, more vivid. Am I the only one who noticed something odd about her? No, everyone's just too nice to say anything. You know, probably, other than the parents behind closed doors. I'll bet the others all noticed too, but try to ignore it because of that adult dignity George Nissan's always talking about.
Oh
yeah, I'm sure. Is this in the Kinzo's already dead timeline, or is it, you know, him just being a neat? Till a second ago, Kinzo's children were complaining that eating lunch with their father would give them indigestion. But now that they knew he wasn't coming, they started grumbling about how he should at least spare time to come down during the annual family conferences. Okay, it's in the he's already dead part of the timeline because Goda's here. No one's stomach could fail to rumble after hearing that from the great chef Goda. By the time the splendid dishes were laid out, everyone had stopped talking about Kinzo's absence. It was now Anjay's absence that was being discussed. Apparently, her stomachache had gotten so bad that neither she nor Kyrie could make it to lunch. Yeah, you know, as a, you know, perpetually, you know, ill person, you know, little sympathy there.
後でキリエさんに相談してお粥のようなものを用意するように。
ああ、気を利かせてくれてありがとう。
The boil it real good so it's completely flavorless.
どうも緊張に弱い子みたいでな。
幼いうちはそんなもんや。吐いたりしないだけ可愛いもんやで。
Yeah.
ジョージはよく吐いたわね。
Okay, I can see George doing that though.
昔は本当に病弱
It's
だっ
alright,
たの
I'm
よ。
a puker too.
ねえ。
昔の話は許してよ。
I get like acid reflux when I get super nervous.
食事時にする話じゃないよ。
しいご飯なのに食べられない？
I also get the shits real bad. Now, back when I was doing my air traffic training, God, like 8 years ago. Jesus Christ, I'm getting old. Being a dumb like well, I just turned 19. I turned 19 right after basic training. No, in basic training. Yeah, so I was like a brand new, fresh-faced 19-year-old rolling in, getting the absolute fucking shit kicked out of me. You know, mentally, they're not allowed to hit you anymore in tech school. But my instructor, he had a bent finger because one of his instructors broke it with we call them bones. It's where you put like the flight plan strips in, and you have like a rack of them next to your like radar screen, and you snap, and you like move them around to like signify the order of like your sequence for your flights coming in. And they're hard plastic, you know, just like a, I don't know, probably like 8 inch, you know, hard plastic little holder. And he just like picked it up and went bam and fucking hit his hand with it and broke it. Yeah. They can't do that anymore. They can just yell at you and get up in your shit and try to stress you out because they want to. They want to stress you out. So that way, you know, if you're a person who cracks under pressure, you know, they can get you out of the program. But I just got like really bad, like, like, it's like, oh God, I'm gonna puke, but I never did. But I did get really bad diarrhea. Like, I was shitting probably like 20 times a day. Just like my body's like, gotta deal with the stress somehow. It was bad. My asshole was bleeding from like all the toilet paper because it's the shitty military one ply. Imagine like your high school bathroom. That, but nonstop, rough, brutal. Some of the worst time of my life. All right, gross talk over.
かわいそうにな。元気になったらその分いっぱい遊んであげようぜ。
ダメ。マリアとは遊べない。
なんだよ。
You guys are fighting.
どうして？
だってマリアはベアトリーチェと遊ぶんだもん。
Is this after you guys had your falling out or before, but
だからエンジェとは遊べない。
who knows?
ベアトリーチェと遊ぶって。
I don't like that talking sprite of yours, Jessica.
またどっかに一人で
Just
行
all
って
teeth.
ぶつくさ独り言言いながら本を読んでるだけだろ。
Jessica slightly oh God, my throat. Jessica slightly regretted that she hadn't been more tactful. However, she couldn't wipe away that uncomfortable feeling she got every time Maria talked about Beatrice, and that feeling slipped out through her words.
一人じゃないよ。ベアとも一緒だもん。
Maria may have been young, but she already knew how to read a person's tone. She immediately burst out in anger, drawing the attention of everyone in the room. Normally, Rosa would have stopped her at this point. However, Rosa happened to have gone to the bathroom, so there was no one to calm Maria down.
ジェシカはかわいそうだね。毒素の塊だもの。
Rude?
ベアとはまだまだ魔力が弱いからジェシカの前になんか現れたら焼き散らされてしまう。でもね、いつかきっとジェシカの前にも現れてくれるよ。誰の前にも。そして黄金鏡の扉を開いてもらうの。でも招かれるかわからないね。だけどマリアだけは連れて行ってもらえるの。
Alright, get off your high horse, kid.
でもジェシカはダメだよ。ジェシカはダメ。ベアトリーチェのことをバカにする無知猛昧愚昧曖昧愚かも極まれりの汚らしい毒素まみれの人間風情。
Alright, go off.
ベアトリーチェのことをバカにされた時のマリアと来たらまるで別人さ。
マリア二重人格説なんてのもあったな。
二重人格。ああ、そいつは多分ぴったりな表現だろうな。あるいはそれがマリアにとっての理想の人格だったのかもしれない。
自分のなりたいもう一人の自分を生み出す
Fake it till you
の
make
話
it.
か。
なんで私のモットーを知ってんだよ。
Creating another self, huh?
難しく考えるな。頭痛になら。
That was something Jessica had once told Canon. She had been talking about how anyone can create another self, that they can really grow to like. I think we heard those words somewhere near the beginning of the second game. Now that I think about it, it's very interesting topics that have been talked about since very early on.
誰だって自分が本当になりたい自分があるんだ。でもなれない。生活やしがらみの中に今の自分がいるからこそ、今の自分を変えるなんてことできやしないんだ。
そうだな。自分を変えるとは環境も変えるということだ。それは容易なことじゃね
え。だから私は今の自分はそのままに、本当になりたい自分をもう一人生み出すことを思いついたんだ。
Yep, just throw on those different personas like masks. Just pop, 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 pop.
両家のお嬢様であることを強いられ、お前はなりたい自分を見出した。
Yeah, the one with brass knuckles and can do weird like air combos.
だからって家で破天荒はできないさ。母さんに怒鳴られるのがオチだぜ。だからそうした。家にいるおとなしく親の言うことを聞く私に加え、
Yeah, and at school you're a bit of a wild
本当になりたい
girl.
私をもう一人生み出したんだ。
家ではおとなしく親の言うことを聞き、
But like not
表
too
ではやりたい
too
よう
wild
にや
because you know you're still kind of a little scaredy cat.
正しい生き様だ。胸を張れ。
ありがとう。
Just kind of project the outward appearance of
ま
that.
あつまりなりたい自分ってのはその気になりゃ案外作り出せるもんなんだよな。マリアも
Oh
同
yeah,
じ
taking
な
the
んだろう
plunge is
と思っ
definitely
た
the。hardest part.
興奮してまくし立てるマリアもそうだというのか。
あれこそがマリアのなりたいマリア
Yeah,
なん
like
じ
a
ゃ
real
ない
witch.
かなって、そう思うことがあるよ。
親族で一番の年少で可愛がられてはいるが、
Correct.
尊敬。
何を知っても覚えても
I also get it
そんなのは
as
親族の誰かが知ってる。
well, I was about to say the perpetual youngest, but I'm not anymore. You know, there's the grandkids now underneath me, but of my generation, I'm the youngest, both sides.
マリアに威張れることは何もない。私たちはマリアが何かを覚えるたびに微笑ましく褒めてたつもりだけど、ひょっとしたらそれが彼女を傷つけていたのかもしれない。
マリアは
Yeah, people don't like getting
何か変
coddled
になりたか
all
った
the
という
time.
ことか。
It's something that all young boys and girls who want to shake off their childhood think. It's not a bad feeling when you learn something new and your parents praise you. But when you realize that your parents already knew that thing, it sometimes feels like they're talking down to you. When a kid learns their one-digit times tables, their parents will probably praise them. However, inconsiderate parents will sometimes ask a mean question then. A mean question will sometimes ask mean questions like, oh yeah, then what's 11 times 11? Or what's 16 times 16? Or something similar. If that happens, the kid will lose his feelings of accomplishment and start to feel as though he could never surpass his parents.
だからマリアが誰も知らないオカルトに関心を持ち、
Call your kid Tostitos because he's nothing but a bag of chips on his shoulders. Hey, oh, I'll be here all week.
その知識を深めていったのは
Came up with that one
容
on
易
the
に想
spot.
像でき
That's
る。
why it was so bad.
多分マリアにとっての理想の自分というのは、みんなに尊敬されるオカルトの権威の自分なんだ。
普段の生活でオカルトの話ばかりしていたらローザにぶたれるからな。お前がそうであるように普段はもう一人の自分
I
を
was about to say
隠
just
して
let her hang out with Kinzo, but he's
という
dead.
わけだ。
So
私は
two little
こんな
peas in a
時のマ
pod.
リアをそうだと思ってる。いや、
Just let him get completely
本当
fucking
の
lost
自
in
分
the
が
sauce
普
upstairs.
段の自分を塗りつぶしてしまったと言うべきかな。私もそういうのをちょっと覚えが。真相の霊場に憧れて病弱な自分になれたらいいなと思って、咳する真似ばっかしてたら悪い癖になって。
I mean, you do have asthma.
咳込めば周りが優しくしてくれるからか。
いや嫌な話の流れになった時とか空気悪い時とかに流れを断ち切れるし。
Do you not have asthma?
なるほど。それもまたお前のなりたいもう一人の自分な。
この話は内緒で頼むぜ。
Jessica, are you faking asthma? Then, just what is the other self in Maria's case? An authority on the occult who can out-argue even adults? Or else someone who converses and mingles with witches. Either way, denying Beatrice in front of Maria is clearly taboo. In her search for something more than her everyday life, Maria had found it in Beatrice and inside herself. Then, is going to the Golden Land with Beatrice Maria's wish?
話が脱線したか。まあそんな感じで、ローザおばさんが戻ってくるまで、マリアは感触を起こしちゃって、よせばいいのに、私も売り言葉に買い言葉で返しちゃって。
You're an emotional teenage girl. What can you do?
ベアトリーチェなどいるわけないと。
そんなとこ、いるもんなら合わせてみろよって。マリアが大泣きしだした頃には、さすがに失言が過ぎたかと後悔もしたぜ。
それで
親族会議自体は私が一方的にマリアに対し、マリアはケロリとしてたよ。一人でどこかに行ってまたベアトリーチェと一緒に遊んでたうんぬんと楽しそうに語ってたから。
Yeah, she proved you wrong.
私を含め誰も頭ごなしに否定したりなんかしない。もうそういうものなんだと思って聞き流して無視してるってのが正解さ。
親族会議の話はそれで終わりなのか。
この話自体はね、私がしたいのはこれが終わって親族がみんな帰ってからの話さ。
Okay. You experienced some spooky shenanigans? Even after the conference ended, I still felt a bit uncomfortable. If Maria had just stayed mad, we'd have made up with each other and I could have put it all behind me. But since Maria got over it, it felt like she was the only one satisfied. I feel like I read that completely wrong. It felt like I was the only one unsatisfied. I just completely changed out who we were talking about and how they were feeling.
どうなさいましたか？
ああ、熊沢さんか。いや別に大したことは。親族のみんなは無事に帰ったかな。
I don't think I would take anything Kumasawa says here too seriously, Jessica. I think she's just fucking... She's out to cause some trouble. Old lady things.
時間通りならもう新島の空港に疲れているでしょう。お嬢様もお疲れ様でございました。
I catch glimpses of her at night in the dark.
私は何もしてねえぜ。
Like, ooh.
使用人のみんなも本当にお疲れ様。
昨日のマリア様との喧嘩をまだ気にしておられるのですか？
まあね。
子供の言うことではありません。
Yeah, don't beef with a child.
お嬢様ももう高校生なのですから、深く気にすることもないでしょうに。
Though to be fair, I get in arguments with my nieces and nephews too. I don't let them have their way most of the time.
子供の言うただのザレ言だと思ってる？
ベアトリーチェ様のお話でございますか？
熊沢さんもベアトリーチェ様と来たもんだ。
Well, it's complicated. Beatrice is the name of grandfather's mistress, the person he's still infatuated with. I realize that, as a servant, Kumasawa-san can't speak of her indiscreetly. Still, that's now become the name of the fictitious witch who lives in the mansion, and it's almost normal for people to call her Sama.
ベアトリーチェなんて私たちが森へ行かないよう大人がでっち上げた階段だぜ。それをいつの間にかマリアが面白がって本当にいるかのように振る舞い出しやがった。
Oh, I mean, who wouldn't?
そんなことを言っては罰が当たりますよ。ベアトリーチェ様はいるのですから。
だからさ、そういうのダメなんだよ、生理的に。
This one she gets like really serious and she's like, no, she's real.
ジョージ兄さんの話じゃねえけどさ、
really
サ
freak
ンタ
her
なん
out.
かいるわけねえとまで騒ぎはしねえぜ。だからってサンタが本当にいるわけじゃねえ。
それは間違いですよ、お嬢様。
間違い？
Yeah, Santa's one of the strongest mutants.
万物、八百万には神様が宿っておられます。
Alright, sure, let's get real Shinto with this.
同じように、この島、このお屋敷にはベアトリーチェ様が宿っておられるのです。神様と同じくベアトリーチェ様も敬っていれば 何も害はなしません。
I can't tell if that thunder was part of like the ambient background track or actually outside.
お嬢様の言うよう
It's
に
supposed to rain here
い
soon.
ないも同然でしょう。
And it was really cool today, so I don't know if we're just like catching a cold front and a thunderstorm is supposed to blow through, or if it's just, you know, just cool out today for some reason.
しかし
Just a normal cold
敬
front.
いを忘れれば必ずや罰が当たります。これは何もベアトリーチェ様に限ったことではないのですよ。
バチが当たるなんて上等じゃねえか。
Ooh, you're asking for it.
会えるもんなら会ってみてえぜ。
お嬢様、そんな罰当たりではいけませんよ。
And so the servants conspire to teach Jessica a
お
lesson.
嬢様、
本日はお疲れ様でございました。
シャノンにゴーダさんさ、ベアトリーチェの話は知ってるよな。
まあ存じているといえば存じておりますが、それが何か。
That's bad juju. Two looked at each other. They looked like a pair who had just heard a clueless person suddenly utter a forbidden
ぶっ
word.
ちゃけ聞くぜ。いるの？そんなお化け。
いるかいないかと言われれば、それはいないでしょうが、多分。
私はきっといらっしゃると思います。
どうしているって？会ったことあるの？
If you call looking in the mirror meeting someone.
直接会ったことがあるわけじゃありませんけど、
Shannon talked in detail about how she would sometimes feel a strange presence, or see a silhouette while doing the midnight rounds. Jessica dismissed each example as it was given, saying Shannon must have seen it wrong or been mistaken.
ゴーダさんだって会ったことあるわけじゃないだろ？
もちろんですとも。しかし。
Weird things in the kitchen. He was being very evasive. Even a man as big as Goto was apparently unable to deny the existence of someone he'd never met. This really didn't sit well with Jessica. She was herself a resident of this mansion. They were acting as though someone else, someone she didn't know, was living here. Of course she didn't like it. I said that. I wanted to say that, but then it was on the screen and I tried to mush the two together, change it when I was saying it, and it didn't work.
今の話をもう一度。
と言いますと？
貴賓室の話ですか？
Goda and Shin had been recounting several ghost stories about Beatrice. One of those drew a reaction from Jessica.
そうそう。今の貴賓室の話、面白いぜ。
Goda and Shannon glanced at each other. They hadn't been trying to talk about anything cool.
貴賓室には午前2時に入ってはいけないですか？
午前2時には、
Okay.
ベアトリーチェ様が貴賓室にお戻りになるので、近づいてはいけないですか？
そうそう、それそれ。面白いぜ。どの話もベアトリーチェらしきものを見たの聞いたのって体験談ばっかだけど、その話は違うぜ。午前2時に貴賓室に行けばベアトリーチェ様にお会いできるってわけだ。
How'd that one start?
それはどうでしょう。
お嬢様、ベアトリーチェ様を悪く言った使用人にはたたりがあると言われています。ましてや貴賓室はベアトリーチェ様のお部屋。
いくらお嬢様でもそれは
I don't know, man. It sounds like it's time for a stakeout.
貴賓室って今は鍵がかかってるんだっけ？鍵は
キーボックスにあったでしょうか。
Well, that would track.
多分源氏様がご自分の席にしまわれていると思います。
マスターキーでも開くんでしょ？貸してよ。
そういうわけには
That's an order.
参りません。
お嬢様、好んで不吉な場所に近づくことはありません。
おいおい、
I suppose you gotta let
人
sleeping
の
dogs
家を
lie,
勝手に
Jessica.
不吉にするんじゃねえぜ。とにかく私は決めた。 マスターキーが貸せないな
This
ら
house is built
貴
on
賓
an
室
Indian
の
burial
鍵はあるで
ground.
し
It's
ょ
haunted.
貸して。
お嬢様。
To Jessica, it was their two expressions that felt more like an ill omen than anything else did. I'm gonna be honest, this beer's not very good. This trail ale, it's like, I don't know. I think it's like the chocolate and the nuts and like the fruit. Like now that I've had like the entire bottle, just like when it settles on your tongue, it's just not all there, Chief. It wasn't the witch of the VIP room that felt foreboding to Jessica. It was them, Marie and the others who believed in witches. In the end, Jessica forced them to agree, and she made them bring her the key to the VIP room.
ベアトリーチェが本当に貴賓室に現れるかどうか肝試しをしたというわけか。
そんなとこだぜ。しかし私は何を意地になってたんだろ
Yeah,
う
you're a
な。
petty person.
年派もいかないマリアとの喧嘩を引きずってたに違いない。
Yes, your beef with a child. Of course, the weather had to be terrible on that particular night. To be honest, I slightly regretted sticking my nose into something so pointless. But I'd already said so much, and even borrowed the key from them. I couldn't just go to Shannon the next day, let her ask me how it went, and answer, well, I got scared. That was a girly sneeze. Well, I got scared, so I gave up. Teehee. That'd be just pathetic. Normally, I go to sleep long before 2 a.m. Same. If Mom found me wandering the corridors at this time of night, she'd definitely yell at me. So, I waited in my room, stared at the hands of my clock as it ticked closer to 2 a.m. Outside, the rain was incredible, and the wind strong. The swaying, rustling trees were particularly creepy. I complained to Shannon and Goda about making up ghost stories for my house, but I was starting to feel as though they had a bit of a place after all. The Ushirmiya mansion is huge. Honestly, I can't think of an entire mansion as my own house. As Mom says, the hallways of the Ushirmiya mansion should be treated like public roads. In other words, my own room is part of my home, but the hallways and the rooms I don't usually enter are outside. So a part of me felt like this VIP room ghost story was ridiculous. The other part of me was so creeped out that it kept trying to convince itself that the first part of me was right. 10 to 2. If I want to greet 2 a.m. inside the VIP room, I need to have already gone in there before then.
行くか。悪いが、私も意地だぜ。
Nothing's gonna happen. I know that. It'll just be a stupid waste of time for a few minutes. I touched the doorknob to the door of my room, and I was startled by how unpleasantly cold it was. As long as I stayed in this room, I could laugh off anything. After all, this was my room. But it wouldn't be like that in the hallway. That's outside my territory. And the doorknob, the barrier between the two, was ice cold. Idiot. Why are you so scared of me? You aren't taking Shannon's, Goda-san's, or maybe Kumasawa-san's gossip seriously, are you? I'll prove it. There's nothing strange in the VIP room. The corridor was only dimly lit. The hallways were brighter before lights out. But to avoid wasting energy or something like that, we kept the lights to a minimum at night. So, even though I was inside my own house, it was very obviously the middle of the night here. Mom found out that I was wandering around at a time like this to do a test of courage in the VIP room, which I'm not supposed to go into. I'd get into a lot of trouble. To make sure she didn't find out, I tried to hide my breathing and my footsteps. So, the silence felt unbearably loud. Even though it was so quiet, the eerie sound of the wind was loud in my ears. The sound of twigs rustling. The sound of some pillar in this old mansion creaking. This mansion's like 30 years old, Jessica. It's not old. What's that sound like a peak tapping against glass? Though it was so quiet, all of the little, suspicious sounds felt obnoxiously loud. Damn, I'm an idiot. Why couldn't I have brought a flashlight at least? A flashlight to use inside my own home? That's even more idiotic. I mumbled to myself, hoping it would drown out the sound of the wind just a little. Then, I saw it. The door to the VIP room. The VIP room was supposedly reserved for important guests. However, as far as I knew, it had never been used. None of the guests who came to this mansion had ever been given the right to use this room. Though I'd been clutching the key all this time, it didn't feel warm at all. The icy metal tormented me ruthlessly. Maybe that was a warning. If you go back to your comfortable room and hide in your bed, this night will pass like any other.
バカにすんじゃねえぜ。ここまで来て、今さら引き下がれるかってんだ。
The key had been freezing in my hand, urging me to turn back. But the keyhole made no further attempt to stop me. All that's left is to turn the knob, open the door, and I'll be inside the VIP room. It's not like I've never been inside the VIP room. Long ago, when I would often play hide-and-seek or go exploring, this room that I rarely entered had seemed unusual and exciting. However, I got in trouble for going in, and was told that this room was important, so one mustn't enter without reason. After that, they made a rule of locking up unused rooms, so I couldn't go in anymore. So, it's probably been several years since I last went inside the VIP room. In fact, it might have been more than a decade. The inside of the room is probably different from how it was when I knew of it. Come to think of it, even then, I felt like there was something unsettling about this room. Slowly, I pushed the door open. It was light, and even after I let go of it, it kept opening by itself, as though beckoning me in. Beyond it was a darkness so thick and heavy as ink. Even the dim light that seeped in from the corridor seemed bright in contrast. Swallowing hard, I stuck my head in, feeling about for the light switch next to the doorway. This was a horribly unnatural and awkward way to do it. All I really had to do was step inside and search for the switch from there. Unwilling to take even a single step into the room, I timidly stuck just my arm into the darkness and felt along the wall. Click. The switch, which was hardly ever used, felt stiff and lifeless. However, once the lights turned on, the darkness vanished in an instant. And there, exactly as it had been, as though not a thing had been changed in all these years, was the VIP room. The curtains and bed cover might have been slightly different, but maybe the chairs had been and maybe the chairs and the like had changed too. Still, if I had to put it in words, I'd call it the feel. The stiff, lifeless feel of this room hadn't changed. If I hung around here, someone might find me. I'd rather not have Mom find me here. I've readied myself. And though I hadn't been able to bring myself to enter this room with the lights out, I finally entered. As soon as I closed the door, I felt an oppressive, suffocating sensation. Oh, right. I've shut myself inside the VIP room. Come out, Beatrice. I looked around the room, but I couldn't see any clock. I'm not in the habit of wearing a watch around the house. Damn. Now I'm not sure what time it is. Still, I know it's only a few minutes at most. It's only been a few minutes. I try to suppress my desire to use going to get a clock as an excuse to run away from this place. Even so, just standing around like this was boring. When I looked around again, searching for something to sit on, I found something strange.
なんだよこれ。
Ooh. It had been placed on the side table next to the bed. If this room had been used often by someone, I'd have just thought of it as just one of their personal belongings. But there was no one living in this room. So it was impossible for this to belong to the room's owner.
お供えかよ。気持ち悪いぜ。
It did look like an offering. A small French doll was sitting on the side table. The doll's hair was gold. It was wearing a black dress. Just who managed to find this doll and where? There's no doubt that someone placed that doll here to symbolize Beatrice. Does that mean this doll is supposed to be the owner of this room or something? And as though it was an offering to that owner, there sat a small plate with several cookies and wrapped chocolates. They were all set out neatly, and there was no dust piled up on the doll. In other words, both the doll and the offerings were being taken care of on a regular basis by the servants, and kept in good condition along with the rest of the room. Taken care of? No, it was more than that. It looked like an offering, like some sort of worship. A prayer saying, "Please don't curse us." So, while the doll was eerie enough by itself, psychologically, it was even more unnerving to think about how it must have been kept safe and worshipped in a place like this.
バカバカしいぜ。たたらないでくださいって。柏手でも撃つのかよ。
Jessica forced herself to look away from the bizarre doll. She couldn't bring herself to sit on a bed that wasn't hers. Then again, she didn't really feel like sitting down on a chair either. She had lost any desire to sit on anything in this room. Wandering about aimlessly, I peeked out the window through the gaps in the curtains to stare at the dark, rainy night. What the hell am I doing? Hanging about in the VIP room this late just because of a fight with Maria is still eating at me. This is beyond stupid. I'm disappointed in myself. Beatrice, huh? Just when did that strange witch start living in this mansion? Grandfather's always yelling about Beatrice. Since it's apparently the name of his dead mistress, people started talking about how her ghost must haunt this mansion. There's that kid's horror story about the witch in the forest, which might be a ghost story made up by the adults to stop the kids from going in there. The portrait grandfather had hung in April was really striking. And there was also that weird epitaph. The creepy words on that, which sounded like some sort of ritual with human sacrifices, made the name Beatrice seem all the more unnerving. At some point, the stories mixed together, and now they say that the witch Beatrice exists. I don't believe in Beatrice, because I know she's just a fictional person made by the fusion of a few horror stories. The Beatrice, who was grandfather's mistress, probably did exist, but she wasn't a witch. Now, all accounts, she was fairly pleasant. Besides her, most certainly fascist sympathies. Going by her upbringing and, how she got to Japan. The story of the Witch of the Forest was made up by the adults to prevent their kids from getting lost in the woods. But that was just a made-up story, not reality. In fact, I've heard that kids were once threatened about wolves living in the forest. Apparently, kids realized that wolves couldn't exist on this island, so it was changed to a witch. Also, I'm pretty sure wolves have been extinct in Japan for, like, a really long time. Or if not extinct, like, near, like, heavily protected species kind of thing. When the portrait was hung, that once vague character suddenly had a face. And people acted as though she'd been around since long ago. That's right. It's all a ghost story someone made, a fiction. And Maria calls Beatrice her best friend, and the servants worship her like a household shrine. I just don't get it. It creeps me out. Ooh. sudden ring of the phone made me jump so hard I thought my heart would explode. There was a phone on the bedside table across from the one with the doll, and it was ringing noisily. However, I was only surprised by the first ring. By the time it had rung 3 times, I'd regained my cool enough to grumble about this being a prank done by someone trying to scare me. If I rush to pick it up, I'll probably hear someone laughing at me saying, "Were you scared?" I thought about ignoring it instead, but it kept on ringing incessantly. It's a pretty loud sound I have going on around this late at night. If someone manages to hear it from her room, I'm screwed.
Hey.
Just gotta take it off the receiver and put it on the table. I decided to pick up the receiver. I'll just say, that surprised me, wahahaha. And maybe follow it up with, looks like Beatrice didn't show up after all. After all, this is my victory, in a sense.
もしもし。
You have her number?
マリア?
I don't get it. Did I hear that wrong? Why would Maria be calling here?
もしもし?
この間は楽しいお歌を聴かせてくれてありがとう。だからお返しにマリアもベアトリーチェに歌うね。習った新しいお歌を歌うね。
Sure, go buck wild. Is that why Beatrice goes into this room at 2 a.m. to have her, mariage sociale, communications? The voice, the intonation, the manner of speech, all of it clearly belonged to Maria. What's she talking about all by herself? I just kept on talking happily as I stood there, stunned and unable to interrupt. Eventually, Maria started humming an old, familiar kid song that even I knew. Go off, Maria. I don't get it.
Maria?
Neither do me, I don't know that song.
ちょっと待てよ。歌うのやめろよ。なんなんだよ。わけがわかんねえぜ。もしもし?
I mean, it's not that hard to cut off the, the receiver. Or the, fuck. The part you talk into, that part, and still be able to, hear, from the phone. The voice, the lights, everything disappeared. In the pitch black, I couldn't see anything. Couldn't tell what was happening. I don't get it. What's going on? Now, it's a stormy night. You probably popped a breaker. Blew a fuse.
何? 今の.
Does being in darkness really slow us humans down so much? I know it's dark, but I really do have absolutely no idea what just happened. What was that shuffling sound just now? I'm not sure I can explain it. There was a loud sound like someone crawling out of bed. I wouldn't say something as non-committal as I felt like I heard it. I wouldn't say something as vague as I sensed a presence. I definitely heard it, right next to me clearly. However, there's no change to the bed. No one had been sleeping there in the first place, and the sheets were still perfectly straight. Someone had crawled out of the bed and had laughed in a creepy voice before leaving the room. That's what it felt like. Felt like? I'm here, and the bed's right there. Not only in the same room, I'm right next to it. So why am I so unsure about what happened just a few seconds ago? I gripped the receiver, which had gone completely silent, and waited there alone, unable to move in a quiet room that seemed exactly identical to the one I had first entered. Huh? What? Nothing had changed since the beginning. I could just pretend that the last minute or so didn't happen. However, if something had changed, that would be proof that something really did happen.
なんだよ。なんでねえんだよ。
Did it fall to the floor? No, it's not there. No matter where I look from whatever angle, it's not there. The offering plate with the cookies and chocolate is still here. The thing they were being offered to. The doll is gone.
嘘だ。
Then what just happened? Is the Beatrice doll supposed to have cackled out loud and left the room? No, that crawling sound was too loud to have been made by a doll. It was a noisy sort of sound, like a kid playing with a blanket and using it as a cape. Then what? Is that Beatrice-sama doll supposed to have turned into a human and then run cackling from the room?
嘘だ。
I don't know, I think you got punked pretty hard, Jessica. After that, nothing happened. The doll alone disappeared, and nothing else changed. In the VIP room, that had remained completely unchanged and was filled only with the sound of the wind and rain. I stood there, too shocked to move.
人形は結局見つかったのか?
Nope.
物陰からベッドの下まで探したさ。それこそ中に入り込んでまで。でも見つからなかった。
一体あの部屋で何があったとか?
I don't know, someone was probably hiding in there, you know, waited for the lights to go out, you know, the signal, and then snatched the doll and fucking spooked you and left the room.
ベアトリーチェ様のたたりなんて思いはしねえぜ。あるいは使用人の誰かのいたずらだったかもしれね
え。いたずら?
マリアの声はあらかじめカセットテープにでも撮ってあって、それを午前2時ちょうどに電話して再生ボタンを押した。そしてほどほどのところで配電盤か何かで停電させた。それからあらかじめ貴賓室のどこかに隠れてた誰かが気持ち悪く笑いながら人形を持って出て行った。そう考えりゃ辻褄は合うぜ。
釈然とはしてないようだな。
そりゃ
Well,
そう
yeah,
だ
it
ろ。
was spooky as hell.
だってこれが私を脅かすためのいたずらだとしたら大掛かりが過ぎるぜ。
I mean, you would really only need like 3 people to do it. They made Maria sing beforehand and record it. Then, someone called the VIP room and replayed that recording. Then, someone waited until exactly the right time and tripped the breaker for the VIP room. To turn off the power to the VIP room, you'd have to go down to the basement. There's a breaker box down in the boiler room. There's no phone line down there, so you'd need a different person to play back Maria's tape. And you need another person to hide in the VIP room and cackle before leaving. And just how long would this person have to hide in the VIP room beforehand? How long would they have to hide in the pitch black VIP room? Under the bed, for example? Well, not that long. They would just have to be nearby, and then have someone watching your room be like, okay, go, 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 she just left. And then they would run in and turn off the lights and lock the door. So really, maybe 10 minutes? Where were we? Under the bed, for example? Waiting to scare Jessica, who might or might not come.
魔女のたたりなんてあるわけもねえぜ。
Night shift gets boring. You gotta get your yucks somehow,
で
Jessica.
もよ、
You'll never be a working class person, so you'll never understand.
人
But
間のいたずらだと考えて、それだけの人間が緻密に示し合わせて、
gotta find joy in life somehow.
私を驚かせるためだけに何時間も暗闇で待ち構えてたって考える方が、私はよっぽど薄気味悪いぜ。
同感だな。いっそたたりの方がマシだ。そのことを後日使用人たちには聞いたのか？
聞いたって、
Yeah.
とぼけるに決まってるぜ。それに最低3人だぜ。あの日は源氏さんと郷田さんと熊沢さんとシャノンの4人が泊まってた。そのうちの3人が
Alright,
あんな
so
薄気味悪いいたずらに
Genji
加担した
Kumasama
っての
Channon.
か？
Gotcha.
わけわかんね
No, it tracks.
え。だから
If it's those 3,
私
yeah.
は聞けなかった。
True, it had been a strange experience for her, but it wasn't something completely impossible for humans to do. Even so, it really might have been more unnerving to imagine a large number of people planning so carefully just to scare Jessica. It's no surprise that she found this scarier than Beatrice's curse.
今でも使用人たちがお前をはめたと信じてるか？
いや、多分 ビビっちまった私の勘違いなんだよ。
Eh.
きっと人形はどこかに転げ落ちて、私がたまたまそれを見つけられなかっただけなんだ。
すべて気のせいだったと言い
That's
た
a
い。
real convenient excuse.
人形が消えた以外、何の変化も証拠もない。
I don't know. That seems like a pretty big change.
マリアにも後日聞いたけど、歌のことも電話のことも知らないと言われた。とぼけたのか本当に知らないのかはわからないけれど、とにかくあの晩のあの出来事は私が確かにあったと言い張ってるだけで何も証明することができない。
It was all a dream. Is that the kind of ending we're gonna get for this whole story too? It was just a dream.
たとえお前が本当にベアトリーチェに会ったと言っても、それを証明できないのと同じだ。
しばらくは
This is
ショ
all
ックだ
just
ったけど、
Battler's memoirs.
時間が経って、あれは臆病な私が落雷か何かで一瞬だけ停電したのにびっくりして、庭木の枝がちぎれてバサバサ落ちる音を誤解したんじゃないかなって思えるようになった。
笑い声は？
変な鳥の鳴き声とか、
Yeah, just some bird from the tree that
とにか
fell.
くそう聞こえてしまう何かの聞き間違いだったかもしれねえ。私は強がってるだけで、本当は信じられないくらい臆病だったんだ。
Yeah, we know.
だからあんなことがあった
You
ように
crack
誤
pretty
解して
easily
しまったんだ。
once shit hits the fan.
そう考えるようにして、あの晩のことを忘れようと自分に強く言い聞かせた。
すべては闇の中。
Mm-hmm.
人間忘れようと思えば結構できるもんだよな。
Yeah, but then you forget to remember to forget.
以来ベアトリーチェという言葉を聞くたびに、
And then you
嫌な気持
remember
ち
the
がこ
forgotten
み上
thing
げる。
you've remembered to forget to forgot.
でもそれを顔に出さないように努めてる。
うん。
おしまい。私に話せるのはこの程度の話だけだぜ。情けない話だから、誰にも内緒に私がビビリだったって誰にも
We
知られ
know,
たくねえ
Jessica.
から
It's
な。
fine.
わかった。最後に一つだけ質問したい。
貴賓室のことで？
違う。食堂でのことだ。
Any trapdoors?
食堂？
お前の階段の直前の親族会議の日、食堂には親族全員が揃ったな。
ああ、当時はまだバトラは戻ってなかったけど、
Mm-hmm.
それ以外は全員いたよ。もちろんじいさまは除くぜ。
Because he's dead.
演者は腹痛で空席だったな。
A huck in her guts.
それはお前の隣の席だな。
そうだぜ。
それはお前の右の席だったか。
そうだぜ。右の席だよ。
Okay.
それが何か？あれ？おかしいな。どうして右？
Yeah.
十分だ。無理に考えるな。頭痛になら。
どうしたんだい、ジェシカ。何を悩んでるんだい？
いや、
Weird.
右、左。
What? You starting boxing? Practicing your hooks and your fucking jabs?
おかしなジェシカ。
You got that right.
どうビル？ジョージ兄さんやジェシカに何か聞けました？
Yeah, we'd have to go over the seating arrangement if we're going by like the hierarchy.
まずまずだ。ベアトリーチェの階段はなかなか面白かった。
I forget how the seating arrangement goes.
階段？どんな話ですか？
午前2時の貴賓室にベアトリーチェの亡霊が現れるという話だ。なかなかおっかない話だったぞ。
初耳です。誰が言い出した話か知りませんけど、仮にも当主様の恩人を階段にしてしまうなんて失礼な話ですね。
模範解答だな。
何か？
リオンは碑文はわかるか？
Probably.
碑文？何の話です？
No.
ベアトリーチェの肖像画
Are
の
there
ところに
others?
ある。
すみません。何のことかさっぱり。
懐かしき 故郷を貫く
Well, we already know you're not real, Leon, so it doesn't matter.
何ですか？
You can be as ignorant as you want.
お前のいやこの世界には肖像画はあるのに碑文はねえのか。
玄関ホールに掲げられてるベアトリーチェの大きな肖像画は
Yeah, it's already been solved. You know, what's the point of still having it around?
しかし碑文の話は分かりません。何の話です？
面白い違いだ。リオンはずっと六軒島で暮らしてきたな。
無論です。それが何か？
子供の頃森には近づくなと脅されてたはずだ。
え
え。Yeah, it's dangerous.
迷子になって危ないから決して近づくなと昔から。
Any deeper meaning to it?
森には魔女が出ると。
What? No, because of the wolves.
魔女？何の話です？
黄金の魔女にして六軒島の夜の支配者ベアトリーチェ。
ベアトリーチェはおじい様の恩人です。それを魔女だか妖怪だかのように扱うのは少々失礼かと思いますが。
魔女のベアトリーチェは知らないと。
Yeah, things ain't clicking here.
黄金と共に潜水艦でやってきたベアトリーチェと隠し屋敷で育ったその娘の話は知っていますよ。あなたと一緒にさっき知ったではありませんか。それがいつ魔女になったんです？
なるほど、そうきたか。では森に入ると何が出ると脅された？
森には狼が住んでるから近寄るなと。
魔女でなく狼か。なるほどな、面白い。
私は面白くありません。何の話です？
You're losing me, Will.
魔女って何のことですか？
こっちの話だ。
Like Leon's just confusing me.
最後にもう一つ聞きて。
どうぞ。
親族会議の食堂でお前の右には誰が座ってる？
私の向かいは妹のジェシカ。
Oh no, cross.
その次の序列はエヴァおばさんの息子になります。
Okay.
だからジョージ兄さんですけれど、それが何か？
なるほどな、紛らわしく入り混じってやがる。
Sure is.
だが面白い。
私には全然さっぱりですが。
Oh, thank God. My brain's starting to hurt. The culprit! It's exposed already? Well then.
わかったんですか?
But that's where we're gonna have to end it here for today. Once again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell. I forgot what I was saying. My brain just died. See you guys all next time for the next episode of Umineko. Catch you guys all then later, where the culprit will be revealed. All will be exposed. No need to move on to episode 8. After this is done, you know, we can just end the series right there. Catch you guys all then later. Bye.